what's going on, guys? It's your host T-Dub here. If that music doesn't get you pumped up for FHDL, then something's wrong with you. So sorry for starting late. First it was my fault. I was running a little bit late. I had something to do, but I was only a couple minutes late. Then we could not, as you can see, it's Team Talk with Storm Drift for this episode of News Report. But Invert Fusion, the leader of Storm Drift, I was having trouble getting a hold of him. He did say that he was able to do it tonight, but I could not get a hold of him, so we waited a half hour. So unfortunately, he will not be joining this interview, but I was able to find the founder and former leader of Storm Drift, Twin Turbskis. Twin Turbskis, what is going on, man?
Not a whole lot, T-Dub, just hanging out.
Awesome. So I guess a lot of people are going to be wondering is why did you go from founder and leader to giving the team to Fusion and you're just the founder and co-leader now?
Well, from when I picked up Fusion at the beginning of the season, he's progressed a lot more than anybody else in the team, including myself. I mean, I'm getting better, but I'm not getting as good as he is. So I figured as good as he's gotten, he's deserving.
That makes a lot of sense. So it's very unfortunate he could not be here tonight, but thankfully you were able to show up, and I do appreciate that. So real quick, a lot of it are the same questions that we ran with Strictly Sideways, but I did throw in a couple new ones. And then those of you watching on Twitch, you're more welcome to ask any questions. We did not have any questions put in the comments during the day today. First question is, how did you guys become a team?
Well, I had thought about joining your old team that you had, YWD, and then I thought at the same time I was thinking about starting up my own team, and YWD had helped me get started with that, and came up with the name Storm Drift and went from there. And then Fusion would have been the first guy I picked up, and then it would have been Gray Fox RGR.
Good, man. That's awesome. So then the next question is, how long have you guys been friends? Like in the team or before the team or whatever?
Actually, before the team there, T-Dub, I didn't know Fusion, didn't know Gray Fox, just started drifting with them in the FHDL practices, noticed how the potential that Fusion had, and decided to pick him up on Storm Drift.
Awesome. So then moving on to the next question, how many total team members are on Storm Drift?
As far as I can remember, I think there's 6 of us. I might be wrong. There might only be 5. As far as I know one guy told me he was done with drifting, didn't want to be part of a team anymore, just kind of wanted to be a freelance guy. And I was alright with that, so he resigned from Storm Drift.
Okay. So then next question is, at the end of last season, there was big talk about you guys and CTTD, Can't Touch This Drift, teaming up, but now we still have yet to see that happen in the off season. Is that still the plan, or has it fallen through, or what's going on with that?
That's still kind of the thought. Fusion has sent me one team name for an idea. Let me find that again here. He was talking about, or thinking about, Sonic Slides. I think it's an alright name.
So you guys are even going on with a name change even.
thinking, I can't remember what we were thinking at the end of last season. Um, but no, he's kind of threw that one at me. So that's kind of what we're leaning towards. We got to get a meeting between the Storm leader himself, Fusion, and me and Gray Fox as the co-leaders, and the leaders of CTTD, and kind of talk amongst us and figure out what we want to do for a name.
Yeah, and that would be very good for you guys to team up with them, especially now that, I mean, there's only been one season, but their team leader, Exterior Guy 46, with clinching the championship last season, that would definitely be awesome to have someone of their caliber to be on your guys' team. Because during the season, if I remember right, you guys had a lot of great runs. You guys had a couple of showings in the grand final. You guys had a couple of top qualifiers throughout the season, but you guys just could never clinch a win. And to have someone like him on your team, I think that would boost morale for your team. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to have Exterior Guide on the team. I mean, we are teamed up. It's just we got to get one solid team name for the two of us.
Awesome, awesome. And those of you guys watching on Twitch, you guys are more than welcome to put any questions that you want asked for Storm Drift's former leader and but still founder of Storm Drift, Twin Turbskis. Just put them in the chat on Twitch, and we'll ask them at the end of all the questions that we have lined up already. If we don't cover them, then. So on that note, what is your favorite car in game, and then what is your favorite car in real life?
My favorite car I've done the best with during the drift season would have been the R33. My dream car that I want to have in real life would be an old IROC Z Camaro.
Nice, nice. And then in relation with those questions, what car do you drive in real life currently?
A 2000 Chevy Impala.
Very nice. And like I said, guys, in Twitch, you're more than welcome to put any questions that you want answered yourself here from Twin Turbskis, the co-leader of Storm Drift. Unfortunately, the leader, Invert Fusion, could not be here tonight. So then moving on to the next question is, do you guys do anything as a team to prepare for competitions?
Usually before open practice starts for like a match or for a competition, we try to get as many of the Storm guys together as we can and just have a fun little competition amongst ourselves, like a one-round elimination.
Okay, all right. And then getting to the last two questions that I have down for you guys before we get into the Twitch questions. What's your guys' goals going from last season? Like I said, last season you guys were a big front runner, but just could not happen to clinch a win in any of the events. But you guys, like I said, were very high up in qualifying and had a few showings in the grand finals of some events. Going from last season to this season, what are your guys' goals?
Try to be number one. I mean, that's probably everybody's main goal going into season 2 here. I mean, Fusion, he's sending me videos all the time of himself practicing with his new cars that he's coming out with, and some of the tunes he's got. I mean, he's getting really good.
It's good to hear. It's good to hear because, like I said, man, you guys had some very good luck with competition and with qualifying. You guys just could not clinch that win. I mean, you guys, I forget who it was. It might have been Fusion. Went to the grand final in Byron Bay East, I believe, and sent it to a couple OMTs.
Well, I think it was.
Was it
I think it was
Fusion?
against T-Gen.
Yeah, sent it to
It
a
was
few
Fusion against
OMTs and
T-Gen.
yeah, sent it to a few OMTs and just could not clinch the win. I think it was actually the losers final. Now that I think about it, because I think Aussie Hoon 0-1 won that one, but still right up there in the losers final, right before the grand final, and just could not seal the deal. So then that leads me to my last question before we get into Twitch questions. How ready is Storm Drift for Season 2 of FHDL?
I mean, I haven't been doing much drifting in the off season. I mean, I got busy with some personal things, but Fusion himself, he's been practicing a couple times a week. He's going to be a force to reckon with this season. Fox, I can't speak for him. I don't know how much he's been practicing in the off season.
Yeah, I mean, I've drifted with Fusion a few times here recently, and he's definitely upped his game because he used to have trouble staying on my door, and now he's always right there on me. I mean, unfortunately, I won't be competing because I will be commentating. But it looks like we just had another Storm Drift member join our party. He's still connecting in, but Gray Fox RGR, also another co-leader, and so we'll get to asking him some of the more personal questions. But real quick, let's get into, or actually, what's up, Gray Fox?
Nothing much. Just got done with some paperwork.
All right, just make sure your audio is included, buddy, and then we'll go ahead and ask you some questions. All right, so let's get into more of the personal questions that I already had wrote down. Then we'll get to the Twitch questions. Sorry for that, guys. But then, so let's see here. So the next personal question for Gray Fox, because Terpsky's already answered this one. What's your favorite car in game, and then what's your favorite car in real life?
Oh, my favorite car, limited to Forza Horizon 3,
Yes.
is, well, that's going to have to be the 99 Dodge Viper GTS, because that's what I like to drift the most. It's a very fluent car, it's very big, it's very intimidating, and by twin turboing the V8, it's just very, I don't know what to call it. It's like a calm but aggressive at the same time. And then real life, a Nissan 300ZX.
Very nice. Very nice. And then the
Yes.
next one would be, what car do you drive currently in real life?
I drive a 1998 Mitsubishi Eclipse GS.
Nice.
Nice little
Eclipses. I used
go-kart.
to have one myself. I didn't have that generation. I had the next generation. I had an '03 GTS that I had put some quite money into. But
oh yeah, it's a
so
little
then,
go-kart is what they are.
So then, what's your goals? Because me and Terpskis were talking about how Storm Drift last season, they were always, you guys were always towards the top in qualifying, and then always finished towards the top in the brackets. But you guys just could not clinch that win in any of the events for whatever reason. What's your goals coming from last season to this next season?
I think our goals are to capitalize on what we messed up with last season, because, like you said, we were finishing in the top positions, but we were just not able to hold those top positions. Like, yeah, we had Fusion and Broccoli and even Tursky's himself finish in like top 10. Even I think we got one time where like Fusion was in like top 5. But we weren't doing it consistently enough to hold the points. So I think that's going to be the next big thing that we aim for, is to win if not win, get high enough in the points where we can, sit in a nice low spot below everybody, and then when they're least expecting it, take them over, and then take our throne.
And right, that's and like Exterior Guide, your guys' new teammate who just clinched a championship last season, he didn't win an event. He didn't win an event till the 6th event out of 7 at Midway Madness. Ended up clinching the championship at Parking Lot Party at our finale, and that was the only event that he won was Midway Madness, and still won the championship just because he was at every event, he showed up for every event, and he was very consistent. And that's the key, is being consistent here in FHDL. So then the last personal question for you out of my questions before we move on to Twitch questions is, how ready are you for Season 2 of FHDL?
Well, I personally haven't played Xbox much lately within the past couple months because I did buy my GS more recently and it's had a lot of problems, so I've been putting more and more time into that and more money as that goes on, but I'm hoping to come out sooner than later and get some more practice in and just get back into the groove of this game.
All right, and then moving on to the Twitch questions, finally. The first question, he actually has 2 questions on here, but the first one is from Nobody, and then it looks like about 8 5s afterwards, so we'll just call him Nobody. And we kind of answered this before, but I don't think he was in the lobby then. What car do you use when you drift on Forza Horizon 3? And this is for both of you.
Well, I mostly use a Dodge Viper or an S14 just because that's kind of my cup of tea. I like, my S14 is V8 swapped. I'm not usually a big American guy. I'm more of a JDMS guy, but for drifting, I like to find the more torque down low is very helpful when trying to transition, especially on like the shorter courses.
Nice. And what about you, Turbskis?
I started out my season in the FD RX-7. Progressed into the Nissan Skyline, R32, R33, and the R34. And then on and off, I was using the Nissan 240 SX.
Very nice cars. I love all of them. I'm a big Skyline guy. That's my dream car, any of them. So then the next question is from T. John, who you all know. He's also the head of Instagram for FHDL. He says, who is the best drifter on your team?
I don't like picking favorites, but hands down, I'm going to have to give that to Fusion.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not even, like, I'm not even going to say, like, oh yeah, he's downright the best player. He definitely, like, dedicates a lot of his time to this. Like, I know he plays other games as well, and a lot of our other teammates do. But, like, he definitely puts in the time, and when he does put in the time, it does really show that he's put in effort.
Awesome. And like I said earlier, he really does, because it seems like he's always on whenever I get on, whether I'm on Netflix or in a game. So then Nobody, his second question, it says, what muscle car do you like to have and like in Forza Horizon 3?
This would be a question for Fusion, because that's all he drifts.
I know, it's so unfortunate he was able to be here tonight, man.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna kind of do. It's not an American muscle car, but it is the Aston Martin V8 Vantage. Believe it's a 90s S car. Hold on. It is a 77 V8 Vantage. It's like an Aston Martin muscle car. It's very raspy when it comes down to it.
You're Mr. Viper, and you choose an Aston Martin? That's crazy.
Well, when I think of muscle car, I think of the Dodge Viper as like a muscle car, but I also think of it as more of a sporty muscle car.
Right.
But like
it's
if
like
I'm
modern
going
muscle.
bare routes, yeah, because if you look at that V8, even like in Forza, it's seriously a steering wheel and a gear shifter, and the radio is the two old-fashioned knobs. There's no AC in it. It's just an old school muscle car that I love.
Nice. And then what about you, Terpskis? What's your favorite muscle car that you would like to have and like in Forza Horizon 3?
Favorite muscle car I'd like to have would probably have to be the new ZL1 Camaro that they just came out with.
Those are pretty sick.
Yes. In game, I kind of got to run with Fusion. I mean, he runs the Chevelle a lot. It slides real nice. It's got some good handling. I was working at an IROC Z drift build in the off season, and then stuff came out to where I'm not going to be able to drift this season during the battles. But I will still be there to drift with everybody and stay in touch. I mean, I'm not leaving completely.
Oh, nice, nice. So then, this kind of goes with the next question from T. John, but just to put everybody or let everybody know out there that we're all friends and family here at FHDL. We all treat each other with respect, but we do have like a friendly rivalry going on. Would you guys say? I mean, I would think so, between all the teams.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd say that. Oh yeah, definitely. We
so
always
then-
mess around in practices.
Yeah. So then the next question from T. John, it says, "Who's the best opponent when you guys drift in FHDL?"
That's a tough one. Does it have to be
Um,
one specific person, or can
No,
it
no.
be like a team?
I think he means like who's the best team that you guys go up against, like rivalry wise.
Well, halfway through the season, I'd have to say Dory Locks with Ash and T-John. I mean, they were constantly, no matter if you were running a full-blown V8 with a supercharger and they're running a four-rotor RX-7, I mean, they were right there with you the whole time.
I agree, man. I was gonna say, even though not too many of my teammates showed up from YWD, I was gonna say between Dorylock and We Know It Drift Team, well, the Aussie brothers. I
Yeah.
would say between
Yeah,
those
they're
two teams,
good.
it was just, and plus every time those two went up against each other, man, it was like OMT City.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think our record this season for like one more times was like 11 or something.
Yeah, something like that. So then, another question from T. John is, if you guys didn't make the team Storm Drift, what would you guys be doing today? In in online drifting or FHDL?
I'd probably be with you guys on Trifecta, even though I am the founder. If I would have went the whole first season and not found anybody to join my drift team, like I said, I'd probably be with you guys on Trifecta.
What about you, Foxy?
I could honestly see myself in Trifecta, and or maybe even trying to team up with the Aussie brothers, because they are just very consistent with their drifting, and I feel like, I could learn. I feel like I could just, grow from driving with them more, and
Right.
just, just playing with everybody as a whole. But I always feel like if I'm looking at anybody as like a role model, they're up there because they're just very consistent with their scores.
Very nice. So then we have one last question, also from T. John. I swear he's like the question master. So he says, in Storm Drift, who has the best car?
That's a tough one because I don't know what
Well,
everybody's running for next season.
I was gonna say, can he clarify if he's talking like design or tune? or
All right,
both.
so T-John, just real quick, put in the chat, are you meaning design or just a car in general? Kind of make it quick because we're kind of running out of time here. I try not to go over 30 minutes since we do upload these to YouTube. But real quick, those of you watching in on Twitch, our next interview, John says both, by the way.
Both.
Hmm.
I'd probably have to give the design portion to Fusion,
Yeah.
and
He's killing it.
for just in general car, it'd probably be a close between all of us. I mean, we're all pretty consistent when we're together. We all are running the V8s in just about everything we run, except Fox. I don't know if you're Viper, if you're running the V8 or the V10.
Now I'm V10 twin turboed.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, even with him running the V10, I mean, the three of us are running consistent across the board with our tunes when we're running together.
All right, so then I guess we'll go one more question because this guy has not answered or asked a question yet. Butcher, TFD Butcher from Twitch says, "What is this anyway? Like a pro drift team or what?" So he's basically asking, are you guys a pro drift team? Are you a pro-am drift team? An open drift team? Like, what would you guys say Storm Drift is?
I mean, we're working towards the pro bracket.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're
I
not
would say
there
if anything
yet.
we're pro-am, because like if you were to say anything, I would say trifecta, and I don't know who else I would say in our league would be in the pro group, but I'd say we're definitely pro-am. Like we've got a couple people that could easily go pro, but they stick with the team, which is really cool, seeing that they're dedicated to us.
Okay, all right. So we're going to go ahead and close out this interview because we're right at 30 minutes. What I was trying to say earlier before we continued with the questions was our next Team Talk interview will be with hopefully We Know It Drift Team ran by the famous Aussie brothers from last season. So I will try to keep in contact with them. If you stay updated on our Facebook page at Forza Horizon Drift League, we'll be putting it up on there whenever we're gonna do it. So, real quick, Forza Horizon Drift League is presented by Trifecta Drift Team, Forza's new up-and-coming drift team. FHDL is also presented by Plantronics Gaming. We are also sponsored by 110 Customs. We don't just give you 100% effort, we give you 110. Sponsored by HKS Performance, bringing style of drifting since 2002. Sponsored by Team 5 Zygon, Daily Skids on Instagram, and Strictly Sideways. And just again real quick, wanted to thank Storm Drift for coming out and talking to you guys. It was, I mean, it's unfortunate Fusion was unable to show, but I do appreciate you guys coming out.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
All right, so like I said, guys, stay tuned on our Facebook page. Follow us there to get notified whenever we post it. Our next Team Talk interview should be with the Know It Drift Team from the Aussie brothers from Down Under. And we will see you guys later, and as always, keep it slideways.